Hello there, broskies. Welcome back to the Life of a Broski sneaker podcast, where we have a good old waffle about sneakers. And in today's episode, I'm very excited to talk about the latest Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse film and the inclusion of sneakers in there, particularly Jordan 1s. But before any of that jazz, what I'd like to kindly ask you, leave a 5-star rating. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And without further ado, let's swing right into it.
Perfect.
Now, this isn't going to be about the film itself, Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse. If you haven't noticed already, it did come out on the 2nd of June, I believe. And I went to see it because there was an Odeon promotion giving out posters. And if you're following me on Instagram, you've clearly seen my excitement holding it up like I've just passed my driving test. But hey, I'm not too mad because I was excited. They was giving out free ones. And this promotion did run from the 2nd to the 4th of June, where you book, I think it was iSense and IMAX, if I'm not mistaken. But you do get a free poster, and this poster was pretty cool. What I would say, speeding along, my overall thoughts about the film, amazing. I didn't expect the way the cliffhanger did go. And of course, spoiler alert, this whole film will be spoiled in terms of the sneaker part of it. I'm only going to be mentioning the shoes in the film, what sort of shoes were shown, spoken about, and also teased, because there was a specific Jordan 1 that was teased towards the end, but it's not cemented in terms of could that be the next one, for the next film, which is part 2, because this was part 1, and of course there'll be a part 2. I believe that's going to be the last sort of film in the trilogy. Hopefully not. There might be more to come. I really do hope, because the whole, Spider-Man, Miles Morales storyline, there's so much to talk about there, especially in this sort of animated form of storytelling. Getting into the actual shoes, of course, we had the classic Jordan 1 Chicago shown on Miles. There was a nice little nod to him straight away. I think the first, half hour, 40 minutes of the film, I think his roommate, was it Genki? I think his name is. I think it's the same guy in the games, not the films. That's Ned, but in the games, Genki is like his sort of sidekick, his tech man, his right hand man that sorts out the Spider-Man app and that sort of thing. So he kind of like was like, "Yo, are those my Jordan 1s?" And he was like, "Hey, yeah, that's what happens when you're the same size," or something like that. So he had them on. That was like straight away a nod to the Jordans. Now, obviously, Nike and the Spider-Man franchise, or Sony rather, definitely had a sort of like front seat in terms of advertising these Jordans, or the Jordan 1 silhouettes, a lot more in this film. Because the last film, the first one, it was like, "Hey, your shoes are untied." And he's like, "Yeah, I know. It's on purpose." And he said it like twice. I think it was Spider-Man that said it, and Gwen or someone else. And that was it. There weren't really like an official nod or mention about Jordans. If you really think about it, looking back now, there wasn't. So in this film, it was nice to see straight off the bat, like a Jordan 1 mention, or a Jordan mention rather, and a highlight on the shoe itself, because there was a big push with this, the second iteration to the Jordan 1 Spider-Man, compared to the first one, especially in the film anyway, because there was a bigger sort of push in terms of like the special box and the shoe. But in the film, it wasn't really much of a nod. And I guess it kind of made more sense how popular the shoe is, or was, that they gave it a bit more of a highlight in this film. Now, from what I can remember, there was another nod where I think it was Gwen and Miles were sort of like rolling around, catching up and sort of solving crime together. I think it was someone robbing a sneaker store, and then them two out of nowhere sort of tag team this guy and took him out, and all the shoes sort of fell. And I think it was no, I was about to say shattered backboard, but it wasn't. It was the recent taxis that we had, which was a nice thing to see. From what I can remember rightly, I believe it wasn't the right box though. From what I can remember, I could be wrong. It was just a regular Nike box. So they kind of missed the beat there. From what I can remember, I could be wrong. Comment down below if I did get that wrong. But from what I can remember, off the top of my cranium, it wasn't the right box to the shoe. Now, you could argue, oh, he's robbing the store, so they might not give the right box. He might not have the right box. And yeah, I get it. Or you could also say it's a different dimension or multiverse, universe rather. They might not have the same box as our universe. And that would be pretty cool as well, thinking of it like that. So that's a nice nod. But yeah, the shattered, god damn, not shattered backboards, sorry. The taxis, the yellow toes, they were mentioned in the film and shown, which was cool. I like that. So recent Jordan 1, not just a Chicago. Now, towards, I'd say the last 20 minutes or so, they definitely highlighted the new Jordan 1 next chapter Spider-Man shoe, where he's sort of like, spoiler alert again, he's caught by Prowler Miles Morales and he's walking up the stairs. No, before that, he's walking up the stairs and it highlights the panels on the next chapter, Jordan 1. So that was like a straight indication, oh, he's not in the right universe or multiverse. When he got hung up by the Prowler and his uncle, Aaron, it was highlighted again, the Jordan 1 Next Nature Spider-Man shoes. So, but in his own universe and the other previous parts of the film, they just look like a normal Jordan 1 Chicago, which, if you think about it, was kind of cool. Like they kind of changed based on the universe or multiverse that they were in. Speaking about Miles now the evil Miles, aka Prowler Miles, he was sort of teasing possibly the next Jordan 1. And this was sort of like alluded to by Sneaker News. Now, I clocked it straight away, of course, sneakerhead. I was like, wow, what are those? Like, could that be the next Jordan 1 Spider-Man? Or was that like just like another nod to the Jordan 1? But this one seemed to have these different panels on it. And it had like a stash at the back. The whole stash thing did not work to the Jordan 1 before. We've had it recently. That didn't work. And the way, if they do it again to a Spider-Man iteration to it, a very bit of disappointment for me, because yes, it might be something like a collector's item, include a special box, some hang tags and that sort of thing, but don't, the stash, man, make it optional at least. Like, I don't want to see this stash on the shoe where you can't take it off, or it looks silly when it's come off, or you can't even take it off altogether. So yeah, but I did like how the colorway looked. It sort of looked like an inverted Miles Morales slash Prowler shoe. It had a lot of white on it, and it didn't look like it had enough red on it. And I know it wasn't actual Miles or Spider-Man, so why would it have red on it? You could argue that. But it didn't look like a shoe I would run out to get. Now, of course, once we see mock-ups and actual pictures to the shoe, if it is the shoe, I might change my mind. But as it stands, I'm hoping it isn't the official next Jordan 1 Spider-Man shoe. Now, I know it was left on a cliffhanger the whole film, and rightly so. It left me feeling like I really wanted more. I came out of that showing and I was like, oh, I was so angry. Like, even my missus was like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, I feel like so let down, but it kind of made sense how they left the film and the way they sort of left the whole cliffhanger thing. So good, man. The film was like 2 hours long. The film was so good. Like, I cannot explain the level of detail in this film, the Easter eggs, the nods to other multiverses and Spider-Man, and even actual like live action Spider-Man as well. Like, how did they even think of this? The music was pretty cool. The whole soundtrack album, it wasn't on the level as the last one. I feel like there wasn't a standout song in terms of like a Sunflower, which was an amazing song. Like, I don't think that could have been topped, but there were more in this film, if that makes sense. Like, if you really hear it on Spotify, the whole album, I feel like there was more songs that you'd enjoy overall rather than just one or two bangers on the soundtrack. Now, I'm not going to sit here and dissect the whole film. I just really wanted to talk about the whole sneaker mentions, Jordan 1 mentions in the film itself. And I think they were implemented really well. They didn't overdo it. They didn't try to oversell it too much. But that last sort of tease to the potential next Jordan 1 Spider-Man sneaker kind of left me a bit sour. I won't lie. Like, I'm hoping it's not, but then again, I could be proved wrong. You know, once official images come out, the actual shoe comes out, and maybe some alterations to it. You know, they could hear the feedback and be like, okay, no one did really like them. Let's switch it up. You know, so let's see. Let's see. Well, broskies, I will leave this episode here. We are changing up the podcast ever so slightly and progressing it as we can. New equipment, as always, new settings. We're back in the studio. And you know what? I thought I'd get rid of my webcam and bring in my actual camera because it is a beast. You know, got my computer here set up. And as you can see on the visuals, if you are watching it, we're trying over here. But yeah, I'm happy how things are turning out on the podcast, how it's sounding. A lot of people are actually watching it compared to the people I didn't think would be watching it as much, you know. But yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. But anyways, broskies, I want to know what you think about the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Miles Morales film. Have you seen it? Is it a film you're looking to see? Hopefully, I haven't spoiled it too much if you're still listening. And also, what did you think about the whole sneaker mentions in the film, the Jordan 1 mentions, the cameos rather? You know, did you think they overdid it? Did you think it wasn't done as properly as it should have? Or did you enjoy the nods to the Jordan 1 sneakers in the film? Because I certainly did, but I want to know what you think. But broskies, I want to love you and leave you there. Of course, leave us a rating. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. And of course, until the next episode, take care.